and welcome to the latest Packaging Europe podcast. I'm pleased to be joined today by Anne Godfrey, who is the CEO of GS1 UK. Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Nice to join you.
Today, we'll be exploring the topic of the future of retail. Obviously, this is quite a big topic to explore, but I'd like to start by saying that GS1 has recently conducted some really interesting research into this area. Perhaps we could start, if you could just give a little introduction, a little background of yourself, and also share with our listeners today who may not be familiar with GS1.
Certainly. So as you said, I'm Chief Executive GS1 UK, and we are one of 118 GS1s. So scarily there are 118 meets, and it stands for Global Standards. So we're a standards and a membership body here in the UK with 60,000 members, all who have a product, an actual physical product that you need to sell. And to sell them, you need to identify them. And for 50 years, that's been the lovely traditional barcodes. And the research that you talked about is us talking to our members and to 507 manufacturers, big and small, retailers big and small, about the challenges they're facing and how the humble barcode can adapt and develop and actually heading into the future become two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of background about yourself. Perhaps you could tell us about your journey with GS1 and your interest within the packaging industry as well, how you came to be in the industry.
I think you would describe my career as well too hard. So my first career was publishing, so professional publishing, so books, magazine, things for accountants or surveyors. And then I got headhunted into membership organization. So nothing to do with packaging at all. But I support membership bodies, both individual, so where people join as a marketer, accountant, and lawyer. Or in the case of GS1, where companies. So my passion is helping businesses grow and helping businesses have members. So I'm afraid that the whole packaging barcode was totally new to me when I joined 4 years ago.
And we're all familiar with the packaging barcode. Can you tell me a little bit more about your research? What exactly were you focusing on in this particular study that we're talking about today?
Yeah, certainly. So we partnered with the Tube because they have a skill to add value to research we wanted to do, which is coming out of COVID and seeing the digital transformation accelerate through COVID. What's really facing businesses now? So what are the challenges and opportunities they're facing that we can help them with? Specifically around on-pack. So what is it that's happening on-pack can help them face an efficiency issue or sustainability reporting issue or just making the best use of their packaging. So as I said, 107 of them were clean enough to reply. And they all think that things are changing really, really fast. And it excited me for others, because, we're the barcode people. I'll get a stock for saying it, but kind of are. But they see the move to smart QR code as being something that will really help them survive the challenges that they're facing. And that's pretty much what the research said. And I almost wish I could have given them all £10 for it, but 41% of the people who applied think that we'll all be smart QR codes on in 5 years.
That's interesting, because obviously the QR code has been around for quite a few years now. And I think when it first was introduced to the market, it was sort of touted as a big thing, but it wasn't maybe perhaps the right time for it. It kind of didn't accelerate as quickly as kind of we were expecting from sort of our position looking at the market. What's changed now? What is it that you think kind of leads to this big adoption in the next 5 years?
I think there's two drivers. One is supply chains want to be efficient and effective. And the second one, the important one, is consumers want more information. I think the final one actually is we all got more used to QR and pack during COVID. So there's now no longer an age thing holding people back or a familiarity thing. And actually the two-dimensional part of it, it's no longer a static QR. And that's the single biggest thing. You can now embed still rich information with a digital lens, which can change what's behind it at the touch of a button. So you don't have to change the packaging of the information that you want to present changes. But actually, as we saw in the report, consumers just want to make informed choices. And brands really have to give them that information to make.
And you mentioned obviously there's sort of not really limits to the information that can be provided. Can you give some examples of the sorts of information that can be kind of conveyed to the consumer?
Yeah, certainly. So here's some actual examples. So some people want to know what's in it. So if you're allergic, you want to know, does that contain one of the 13 allergens? And we know from other research that 56% of people with allergies have actually eaten a gummy that was dangerous to them. So you can embed all of the nutritional information in a QR. And again, when ingredients change, you don't have to change packaging, you just change what's in it. You can tell the story of your brand. So if your brand is Pickle or Hobbits, through two of the brands you've done list, you can do something seasonal. So you can do a story around Christmas, you can do recipes to go with your turkey. So again, it allows you to think about what brings your brand to life. And if what your customer cares about is sustainability, so they want to know where this came from, what's in it, was it ethically sourced, and in particular, how much greenhouse gas was created when this product was either grown or transported, then that's the information you can choose to present back. And obviously, we know that digital product passport is coming for anybody who wants to sell a product into Europe. And regulators are increasingly looking for ESG reporting, whether at a product or company level. So both for the consumer who want that information, but also as a business, QR gives you the possibility to react to both those levels.
And actually, I would say more of a personal anecdote, but I actually personally have a food allergy. And I'm not someone that uses sort of QR codes on a regular basis. And quite recently, I went to a restaurant and they had a QR code on their menu, and you could type in your allergy, and it would give you a menu just that caters to your food allergy, if that makes sense. And I thought that was actually brilliant. So the fact that they can do this on general food packaging, things like that, obviously appeals to someone like myself. So I can really see the benefits of that, just on a personal level. So I can see, there's a lot of potential for using that for customers. And you mentioned a lot about brand loyalty in the research. Can you touch a little bit more on that? Because there's some statistics that consumers are losing their brand loyalty.
So the retailers who answered were very honest, actually, and they said that 89% of them think that consumers are far less loyal than they used to be. And then you lose the trust of the consumer really quickly. And we're cynical. Consumers, particularly around sustainability, traceability, we tend to doubt sometimes what we're being told. So they all thought that the use of richer information, deeper information, more around the provenance was a way to win back trust. And there's also really exciting things being done around accessibility. We talked about people with allergies. Again, name dropping one of our members, Unilever, for example, we're using QR to actually allow blind and party sighted people. So not only can you and I point to our phone at QR and find out if an allergy, where's it from? But if you're blind, you can again point your mobile phone at it and it will tell you how far away the product is, what product is, how to open the products. And that's anything from things you eat to things you wash your clothes. So the possibilities around accessibility and inclusion for QR are also phenomenal. And the first time I saw that, I just thought, wow, I would never have thought you'd do this with just a barcode.
And you touched upon sort of the digital product passport previously. Can you explain a little bit more about that to our listeners? What potential do we have, and how do we conform to sort of these new legislations with new technologies?
Yeah, certainly. So, the document passed last year, but the actual detail hasn't been published yet. And in simple words, every product sold into Europe, into the EU, will have to have a digital twin. And that digital twin, starting with batteries, then construction, and then apparel, will have to tell you absolutely everything about that product, but not just where it's from, what's in it, all about how you recycle, repurpose, or use it. And the only way to do that is going to be richer information through a QR. And the example I always use is a t-shirt. So again, you would point your phone at opening the label, which have a QR on it or have an ID on it, and it'll tell you where the cotton was sourced. Was it ethically sourced? How was it transported? How much greenhouse gas emission? How much water was used? And all of that detail what it is the regulator wants for a panel or batteries for a construction product like a window or a door has yet to be announced. So we're expecting the first key word coming up, key phrase coming up, delegated act, which will give you that detail, is coming out next year, or this year now, 2025. And we're following it very closely because, well, we see all of our members straight into Europe. So we've actually done a demonstrator because nothing brings this to life more than showing our members a fake version of the digital passport, which fake you're going to be at. Go away and start thinking now about how you prepare for this, because it's our single closest market. It's really, really important we prepare our 60,000 members for this, particularly the sectors that are going to be impacted earliest. And for us, that's our construction members and those of our members who self-work.
And going off tangent a little bit now, when it comes to sustainability, what power does the smart QR code give to support having a more sustainable future when it comes to the packaging of products?
Yeah, what I'd love is the multiple uses for it. And we don't quite yet know the detail of extended use responsibility, PR, or what might be expected in terms of labelling. But a QR can do the two things. It can tell you what you do with the actual product and what's in it. And again, all the ESG metrics that we've talked about, but it can also tell you what you do with the packaging itself. So what do I do with the packaging? Is it something that goes in the green, the blue, the brown, then depending on what your local council does. So you've got the contents, the traceability where it's from, sustainability of what's in it, and sustainability of what's round about it. And it can also, at a very practical level, and the single biggest use case for the retailers in the UK who are using QR is waste management. So Tesco and Morrison, who are using QR on pack here, it's all about waste. And that's waste of the actual product because they're using it on fresh foods. So meat, fish, vegetables. They can actually reduce waste by making sure that they know just how much they've got that needs to remove from the shelves, using predictive text, if you like, to help with stock control. And I think all of those uses are around sustainability in one form or another, whether it's consumer facing, whether it's business facing, or whether it's packaging.
And coming towards sort of the end of some of the information that came from your research, technologies that are mentioned, such as AR and VR, the Internet of Things, predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, there's a lot of big technologies being named here. And this kind of creates, a very different future from how we're living now. How do you see it sort of panning out in the next 5 to 10 years with all these different technology?
So the one I would dread to even think about guessing of AI. So I'll stick to the ones we're already seeing, which is augmented virtual reality, where you've got children who are gamers already living it. So where I see the consumer's experience changing is the bringing together of the physical and the digital world. So at home, it would be the use of a virtual reality to show you what you might look like in that particular dress, pair of trousers, jumper, or if you were to use this makeup, how would it look on your skin, or to walk through in your front room, a shop, and see where everything is and pick it up as if you were in store. And that's already completely possible. And we're also seeing retailers doing exactly the same in store, which is how can you, before you get there, always have a digital guide. So before you go, you've got your usual shopping list, and then your phone will guide you around the store and will actually tell you where everything is so that you don't have time to feed in the aisle. More mobile check. Doing, again, the use of different ways of shopping. You could actually just have somebody there and scan out whatever you want. And I think that mix of physical and digital. And we've already seen it. We've gone from, bricks to clicks and going back to bricks again. So all of our members who started off as purely online are now actually going back into store and taking all those digital skills, because they're digital first, taking those digital skills into how we want to present their product, which isn't just the actual name of phone, favorite chocolate bar, but actually what do you think would be sexy about that experience? And those who are used to wearing the virtual reality goggles don't mind doing that at home. Some of us will just like a little bit more of a digital experience in our logos.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, actually, an interesting statistic from the report as well. I'm just going to grab that out. 51% expect traditional checkouts to checkout, believing that these are likely to disappear from stores within 5 years. That's quite a big percentage that believe that, actually. And obviously, we do have this tradition. That's how we've traditionally shopped for many, many years. That would be a very big change to our society, our culture. Is that something that you think will happen in the next sort of 5 years even?
I think retailers will make choices. I think if they do lose traditional aisles, they'll still have people. The what I see it as doing is freeing up humans to help humans. So this would not be with most people we can talk to in the store. It would be you can check out at any time, anywhere in the shop. You can be scanning as you go along, do the bags as you go along, and when you're ready, you press it button and you pay. But if you need help, the store can then use its human resources to do value learn. But 51% still only have. So I think some retailers are completely up to that approach. Let's just look at door to mile, following the sort of picture. And after thinking, actually, well, we tried to get rid of all the traditional checkouts, the people in the till. We got quite a lot of, because we saw people going to the shop is when we actually do human interaction. So I think we'll see a mix of, I don't think we'll see as a removal of people in the store, because I think that's what customers want.
Mm-hmm. And another percentage from the findings, that nearly half of the companies surveyed in the report said they've already begun building QR capabilities, and the other 52% they'll start doing so within the next couple of years. What advice and sort of support would you give to companies that haven't gone down this route yet, or sort of thinking about it and not 100% sure kind of what support is out there for this?
Yeah, we were amazed by the 48%. They would keep it very, very quiet. Really more for the 48%, and the other stat, 91% of people replied that they're using 1990. So there's a lot that needs to replace. So they'd be very quiet in the store, making the scanners, and very quiet in looking at supply chain, how they can talk to the long supply chain. So my advice to anybody thinking about it, don't be scared. There are other people out there. We put lots of advice on our website. You'll have your partners you're already using, whether it's your printing companies, your packaging companies, whether it's the retailers that you sell through, if you're a brand, or if you're a retailer. Support is available. All three providers in this space are already doing it. There's plenty of people using it. An immediate ROI, because as soon as you've actually got QR, anything changes, you don't have to bin the packaging. So that, my advice would be, don't be scared. Go and talk to the people who are already supporting you and just ask them to help.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I've sort of asked a range of questions to you today. Is there anything you think, I haven't covered with my questions? Anything interesting from the research you would like to, discuss in a bit more detail?
I think it's the scale of it. So yes, GS1 UK are working with our 60,000 members, but there are 48 countries. So GS1 in 48 countries is also driving QR. This is the global change. So a product with a QR code that can be scanned here in store or at home can also be scanned anywhere in the world. So don't just be thinking that QR is for these 4 items. This QR is going to be everywhere. And it's going to be everywhere a whole class in the week.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for talking to me this morning and sharing your expertise with our audience. It's been really interesting to hear this perspective in the packaging industry and to hear from you today. So thank you very much for joining.
You're welcome. Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm sure we'll also be publishing separately the article with all the research findings in it alongside this podcast. So I'll leave a link for that next to the podcast for our listeners as well. So if you're interested in learning more about it, feel free to take a look at the article as well, which explores the findings.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining.